This is part 2 of umbrella cord installations from patiofurnitureRehab.com, and in this illustration, the last video we left off with the removal of the old cord. You want to remove all remnants of the old cord, make sure there's none left down inside the tubing in your way that might cause a problem with the new installation. Now we'll begin with installing the new cord. I failed to have illustrations on this video regarding how to have the right size cord made for your particular umbrella. Best way to do that is to determine the length of the old cord, or make sure that you see the length as the umbrella is down, in the down position, where it would be from the crankshaft area inside the umbrella pole all the way to the lifting part that lifts the ribs up on the pole. You want to have a few inches beyond that in both ends to work with a knot and to make sure you have enough there. When you order a 10 or 50 foot length cord through Patio Furniture Rehab, we will already have the ends cleared for you as far as the fraying that happens. Once you cut the cord, that can fray at the end a little bit. To prevent that, we will burn the end and kind of make a point at the end of it in order to help and assist with going through the holes involved with the umbrella cord installation. If you do need to singe the frays down on the cord, always be careful using the fire, and be careful to have it around water to dip it in, and just in case it does catch on fire as you're working with it. Now, this illustration is for those umbrellas where you find you just can't remove the crankshaft very easily, and you just have to work with it a little harder as far as the cord, and a little bit of pinpointing with the cord to get it through holes in the umbrella. In this case, to help you know the path of the cord, you could take a flashlight, put it down at the end of the umbrella when it's upside down, and let the flashlight shine through where the pulley is, so you can look down in the tubing and see where the light's coming through. Then you'll see where the hole is for the cord. In this case, the cord's already in there, but you would be able to see the hole shining, and then you can remember where it's at and what side of the umbrella, so that you can have gravity work with you when you're trying to get this cord to steer through the hole as you're installing it down into the umbrella frame. Now you see the umbrella in an upright position so that we can work with steering the cord down the umbrella tube to find that hole that we know where it is, about where it's at now, and we'll let gravity work with us. You tilt the umbrella just as needed until you feel like the cord has gone through the hole. You don't feel it blocking as it goes through. This is a little bit to work with, but it takes a little bit of patience, but once you hit it, then you got it through, and it should go through pretty smoothly, and you should see it come out the other end at the bottom of the umbrella. Once you have the cord all the way through, you might temporarily tie it to a rib down there until we work with connecting that, and just so it don't pull all the way through and you have to go through this again. But once you have that cord out the bottom, you turn the umbrella upside down again, and then you're going to have to work with it by taking that end, and you're going to have to target that hole on the crank as you look down in there and see it until you get it to go through that hole. Once you get it to go through that hole in the crank, you can turn the crank a little bit, and of course after you have a few inches through, a couple inches through, you can turn the crank a little bit. You'll see the cord pull around the end of it, and you can take, that's where you could take a wire that has a hook on it, and you can pull it out and work with it coming out the end that way. Once again, I note that this is probably one of the more complicated and maybe not one of the most common, but I'm taking this time for the more complicated installations here. There will be some information again at the end for probably more commonly the more common type of umbrella cord installations, which involves removing the crankshaft, and once you can do that, you can work with the cord installation a little easier. Once you have the cord pulled back out after it has been through the eye of the shaft there and pulled up through the tube again, you're going to want to make a good knot, tie it, make sure it's good and tight. You might even try to singe it just a little bit with a lighter carefully. Kind of helps to melt the knot together a little bit. Just don't overdo that, and make sure it's very tight. And then we're going to go ahead down to the other end of the umbrella. We've turned the umbrella upside down again, and we're going to work with it maybe on a floor, on a blanket, and take that cord that is through the hole on this end, and we're going to work it around the pulley. In this case, this pulley is enclosed inside the tubing, so we have to find a way to get it around that pulley while that pulley is inside that tubing. This is where the reusable adhesive that we mentioned at the beginning of the first part of the video here, you'll place just a little bit of it at the end of the cord, and you'll push it down in between the pulley, and that will make it stick, so you can turn the pulley all the way around, and then you'll be able to get a hold of it, pull the gum and the end of the cord out over the pulley, and then you can discard of the gum. Then you'll take the end of the cord and thread it back through the hole on the part that's used to lift the ribs up on the umbrella. However it was in there before is how you want to put it back in. In this case, there was just one hole that this cord went through. You'll see another illustration in about a minute here of how the cord goes through two different holes. But here, after the cord is through, you make another knot and tie it very tight. Make sure it's very secure, and you may go ahead and pull on it a little bit to make sure that it is going to hold very well before you screw this ring back on. Then make sure you screw the ring back on completely. And if you had to remove the spring and button, you can place it back in there as it was originally. Now we'll jump to a very common type of umbrella cord installation. This is on a manual tilt. You'll know, of course, whether you have a manual tilt. Usually there's a button you either push in or you have to slide to make the umbrella tilt. Once you have the umbrella in a tilted position, maybe upside down will work better for you, on the ground on a blanket, then you can work the cord through. The first end that you're going to work it through is the end down towards where the pulley is. There's only one way that this will go through. One side, even though the umbrella tilts on both, it's best to make sure you know which side it is. Again, you might use the flashlight trick there at the umbrella to find out which side is proper to have the cord through. Once again, with fishing this first side through down the pulley end, you may have to tilt the umbrella a little bit as you push the cord down, maybe pull it back up and then down again until you find that it is hit coming through the area of the pulley. Of course, this pulley is riveted on, which can make it difficult to remove the pulley to do it any other way. So there's just a little bit of patience involved here. Once you have the cord coming out of the proper side of the pulley, of course on this one the pulley is sticking out on both sides a little bit. Make sure you know which end it's supposed to come through to connect up, and then you'll pull. You can actually push this through the pole on the other side of the pulley and out, like you see here. And you see on this umbrella example that there are two holes that support the cord, and two knots, and it's actually a few inches long. There's one little cord there you see, and then the other cord that comes through the pole is tied onto that helps pull the umbrella up. All you do is just tie the knots the way they were originally, make sure they're very tight and secure. Now with the umbrella turned upright so that you can work with gravity, you fish the cord down through the other end and tip it in such a way until you see the cord come out of the hole here where the crankshaft was removed. If you can't quite get it to come through the side hole, this is where once again you can use the wire that you made with a hook at the end to help pull it through. Now we will thread the cord through the hole on the shaft and tie a knot. Make sure it's very secure again. Don't leave too much on the end, and pull it tight again ahead of time just to make sure it's going to hold. And then you reassemble the parts on the shaft as they were originally and put them in back in the reverse order that you took them off. And then of course you can close the casing however your particular casing was taken apart. You just do in reverse, and then you are finished with the umbrella cord installation. There can be some variations to these cord installations that have been illustrated on this video, but hopefully that you'll be able to draw from the information given here so you can successfully reinstall cord on your valuable patio furniture umbrella.